You mentioned the Cook County guys were starting to form. Since this is Cook County week, we should probably talk about that. Were they IO guys? Were they Second City guys? Were you guys just doing independent shows? What was?
We were kind of all over the map in that, like, Greg and he'll take full credit for this and be super happy about it.
Greg Hess
kind of brought us all together in that I was in my first conservatory class with Greg, and then he was in like IO classes with the other guys. And so from this conservatory class with Greg and I, we started a big group called Show Pony, which had a bunch of people in it. Mark from Cook County was not in Show Pony, but he was in another group called Chuckle Sandwich. And we would always be on similar bills, and we all kind of became friends. Like Show Pony was friends with Chuckle Sandwich, and we would do shows together as many times as we could. And then, long story short, like this combination of people kind of became friends. And then Bill from Cook County, Mark from Chuckle Sandwich, Bill from Show Pony, Mark from Chuckle Sandwich, me end up working in a law firm together. And we just endlessly goofing. Greg now works at the art museum down the street, and so basically our life is endless email bits, back and forth. It's hilarious, like just hours and hours of hilarious emails, cracking each other up, meeting for lunch, laughing, and eventually this foursome is like, we should start a group together. And like, we always wanted to do a show at IO. We had all these independent shows happening all over the place. We said, let's rehearse until we're really good, and then get a show at IO. And that's what Cook County became. So
yeah, that's awesome. How did you end up at the law firm? Was it just an odd job, basically?
It was there was this great lady who worked there who loved comedians, and she hired TJ Miller, who was in Chuckle Sandwich, with Mark. And so TJ was kind of this like gatekeeper for us, where he's like, well, and TJ is now a big Hollywood superstar, and basically, like, he's whatever you see on TV is what TJ is. He's hilarious at all times. He's a huge personality, and this lady loved TJ, and she's like, if you can get more TJs in this office, life will be great. And awesome. So this lady was fantastic. So TJ got Mark and Bill in there, and then Bill knew I needed a job, and so Bill hooked me up with this.
That's awesome.
I was an awful secretary, by the way. But this lady was so sweet and loved us all being in the office so much because we were just like so fun that she would create jobs for me. So like she would be like, Brendan, could you like move boxes around? So she was the best. She kept me employed for a while. And even when I got touring company, when I was working there, she was like, you know what? Let's just ride this out, get like all your vacation days.
Cool.
She was the greatest.
That's awesome.
So cool.
I don't usually care about improv names because I think they just sort of happen flippantly. But I'm curious. I just want to ask all three of you the origin of Cook County Social Club, and I want to see how well it compares. So what was the so it's on right now. What was the origin of the name Cook County Social Club?
For starters, mine's the right origin. But what would happen was, again, like, so our existence was like email bits. And so when we decided to join together as the foursome, we would eventually become a fivesome down the road when Tim Robinson joined, but he wasn't a part of this. It was us just emailing back and forth, all trying to decide what the name is. Now, Bill takes great pride in being a great namer of improv.
What's Bill's last name? Sorry.
Bill Cochran.
Okay.
Bill Cochran, the tall, spectacled member of Cook County
And he's still in Chicago.
He still lives in Chicago, has a house, and he's made right choices. He's got a good-paying job, takes care of his children. Unlike
I love his descriptors. He has a house.
He has a house. And that to me is like the ultimate, like, oh, you care about your kids. You don't want them to die one day.
So Bill prides himself on improv names.
He's come up with a few in town, right? So there's some groups out there that have a Bill Cochran name on it. And so he's putting out some classics. He's putting out some real good ones. Other of us like take a more jokier approach. Like Greg is putting ideas out there like "lay boys," which he really wanted us to be "lay boys." We're getting other friends giving us ideas. Like, so we had a friend give us the name "Tiny Gentleman." We were thinking about that. I found a rock and roll name generator online, which would just like randomly throw words together to create various. A cool rock sounding name. And the one that I fell in love with was Big Gay Hat. And so we have emails upon emails upon emails of all these names.
And
like
this is
joke
before
names.
you guys have performed at all.
This is before we perform. Now we're like maybe kind of like we're getting together and rehearsing and stuff. And like no joke, as Cook County, we rehearsed for a very long time together before we ever touched the stage, which was kind of very cool. And helped us out a ton to like really kind of form something. But so we have pages of emails of like, okay, and then eventually it's like, guys, we should really get serious. And like Bill's list was always great, and in the middle of it was like Cook County Social Club, and I think we were always just like, what about Cook County Social Club? Yeah, that's really cool, man. I like that one. But I still think Big Gay Hat's pretty good. And so, like, via email, I think it's just like a slow whittling down of like, we're Cook County Social Club. Yeah.
So, what's the origin of why did he suggest?
We in Chicago lived in Cook County.
Okay.
And he thought like a gathering of gentlemen being a social club was a cool thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Now
Billy Cochran.
I'm interested to hear what the other guys.
Yeah. I can't wait to find out. I'm kind of curious too. I hope it's exactly the same.
They're like, we were all drinking whiskey
Yeah, I thought this would be more entertainment
at the Navy Pier, and we all came up with it, and you weren't there.
Yeah, that would be the true case. I'm never invited to anything, by the way. If we want to get to some deep Cook County secrets, it's always like, oh, we had a party last night. Where was I?
The deep cut.